Hello, dearest listener, and welcome to Journeys Through Middle-earth, a podcast about the road we walk through the Lord of the Rings Online. I'm Law, a returning traveller making my way through the world of Lord of the Rings Online, one quest and one step to Moria at a time. Each episode, we take a look at what's happening in the game, the weekly sales and updates, my progress in my Road to Moria series, and a bit of advice or reflection for anyone joining the journey, whether you're new, returning, or have walked these roads for years. So settle in, have a drink, let's see where we are today. Welcome back, dear listener. Come join me by the campfire. Let's take a look at what the wider world has to offer us today. In the last 2 weeks, we've had two updates, update 46.2 and 46.21. 46.21, I imagine, is some sort of hotfix. So, not much to really talk about there. It's only one paragraph and it's about the UI scaling. It seems that there was meant to be Lua support, so add-on support for the UI. That has now been disabled due to additional compatibility development, which is a shame. But we at least now know that they intend to allow us to use our add-ons in the UI update, which is going to be wonderful when it works. But of course, these things often take time. And with the way that the game is and the way that the studio is, give them all the time in the world. They'll get there. They will get there. As for 46.2, which was released on February the 11th, there is Tier 3 of the new instances, which arrived on the 12th. So chances are you've played it if you're at the end game. I have no idea what these are. All I know are the names, and that's all I want to know. The treasure caves of Hurum Kana, Ekel Nebi, the Fallen Palace, Kothrau, the Wailing Hold. Not a clue. I'm nowhere near the end game, as you can tell in my series. I am very, very much far from this road, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's more of a, how can I say, I've lost the word now. I've lost the actual word. I've lost the word. It's more of a sneak peek. That was it. See, I told my brain would catch up. Sneak peek to what I can expect. Along that, it was the UI scaling. Secondary update to the UI scaling, if I'm not mistaken, where Lua plugins was supported. We now know that is not the case. Map cursor coordinates now correctly match the map scale. Tooltips that are too large for the screen no longer reset to minimum size and instead correctly scaled to match the screen. UI elements that save their size and position are better at restoring their size and position, regardless of their scale, between play sessions. Tooltips originate from the right hand side and are positioned close to the cursor. Statistically placed tooltips are now correctly staying inside the client window, even if the examination tooltip position is set close to the screen edge. Scaled UI objects are better at staying in their relative screen position when the client window is resized. Player map marker no longer goes invisible on some maps. Corrected an issue that caused player storage items to have a mismatched selectable area with their visible image when scaled. Fixed a bug that caused UI elements to shrink when the HUD is toggled off then later on. So it looks like a lot of fixes. It looks like they are committing a lot to the actual memory of the game, which is good. It's showing, hey, we are working on this diligently and quickly. Some more general notes. Crafted class items with essence slots, my apologies, will now properly appear as a choice when right-clicking a valid essence slots are used. Fixed an issue where Mizardi would go missing if you cancelled clearing the way before completing it, preventing you from being able to accept it again. The shields from the Kingdom of Tharbad instances, available as a drop or from barter, will now correctly bind to account on upgrade. Seafarer essences can once again be disenchanted into appropriate malleable essences by using the Flame of Anklemir. Crafted Seafarer essences boxes can again be used. If you are a more endgame player or later down the road player, I'm sure that is good news for all of you. I do not know. Again, I am still very, very new to my journey. So let's move on to a little segment I like to call, and I didn't get to do this in episode 1, but now we can finally do it, which is From the Road to the Sales, because it's always important to know when there's a sale on. It is Go Ever On and On. You get 25% off from selected XP boosts, enhanced XP supply, 100% mark acquisition boosts, now through February 26th, and the weekly coupon is 20% mount speed. You get the coupon code Like the Wind. That is Like the Wind, LIKETHEWIND, Like the Wind, all caps lock, all one word, and that'll get you your 20% mount speed. It's nice that they do that. It's nice that they throw little things in there for the sales, a little freebie for everyone. And I encourage everyone to check out the Lord of the Rings Online website so that you can gain your weekly freebie. Because why not? It's free. So, onto the road myself. Let me regale you with my tale of what I've been doing. This, if you're new here, is how I recap my series, The Road to Moria. As to why it's specifically Moria, I have only reached Moria once, and that is when the expansion first came out. I've never gotten back to Moria. I've always came off the path or diverted. So this is why this series is there. It's to keep me in check, but also to share this tale and this story of Lord of the Rings Online. And once that is finished, once we have gotten to Moria, I fully intend to continue the story, where everyone will get to see a Shadow of Angmar's player's first reaction to everything. But over the last 2 weeks or so, we have about 2 episodes out now. The last I left you, we were in Caras Gelebren. We were heading to Caras Gelebren after saving young Tenguin from the marshes, after deciding to be an adventurous scamp and try and take on Uruk-hais by himself. It is there we met the she-elf, Bregolith, ancient and wise and fair in her beauty. She tasked us with slaying Uruk-hais in the ruins of Caras Gelebren. Stumbling over my elven there. Do apologise, it's not exactly easy on my common tongue. And once we have proven ourselves, once we have gathered some artifacts and slew some evil shadow, she regaled the tale of these ancient lands, how important it were to the elves, especially considering it borders with Eregion. And she regaled the tale of the rings. Those certain rings. Not just the one ring, but the ring for men and dwarfs and elves. And the story of Celebrimbor, the legendary ringmaker. As to why she regaled these tales, it is found out that the Uruk-hai and the White Wizard are searching for elven jewellery in these lands. Clearly, he's searching for that one ring. The one ring to rule them all. She told us of Sauron, the Deceiver, who had a friendship with Celebrimbor and eventually deceived him so his one ring could claim dominion over the others. However, the 3 elven rings, they were made in secret, hidden away. And I do not know where they are. I don't know who holds them, if they still exist. And after this tale, after we found out that the Uruks were searching for jewellery through the ruins of the great elves, Meneldir saw it fit that we aid the nearby village, give them weapons so Skadi, the dwarf, can reforge them so they can defend themselves. More Uruks would be crossing through the lands to Swanfleet. And then it was time for us to leave. We had to get messages to Imladris, also known in the common tongue as Rivendell. And so we headed to the east, towards the ruins of Tharbad. Before we crossed the river, however, we met and found a new ally in the Rohirrim, known as Egfrith. Now, Egfrith, she had travelled all the way from Rohan, from Edoras, and regaled us the fact that King Theoden is not of his mind and is not well. That these orcs, these Urukai, have been bearing the mark all across Rohan, and that many towns and crofts have been troubled by them throughout the Riddermark, and that they do not have enough forces, and the kingdom is growing weak and frail. And so we told Igfrith of our discovery, that it is the White Hand of Saruman, which sent shivers down anyone's spine, that the wizards have turned traitors on us, the free peoples of Middle-earth. And she is intending to send her own errand through these lands to try and gather aid, heading to Imladris herself. All roads seem to lead to Rivendell. She had to, unfortunately, abandon her horse as the rivers were too wild and rapid that she could not cross with it. So the three of us travelled through into the ruins of Tharbad. It is there we set up camp. This very camp that we're actually sat at now. Melendir suggested that we perhaps scout the area. We did so, slaying orcs, ensuring that they did not trouble us during our time of rest. It is there, during our scouting and during our hewing of the shadow in Tharbad, that we met a son of Gondor, whose name is Boromir. He himself was on his way to Rivendell to provide a missive. A great council had been summoned, allegedly. And that, after aiding Boromir, gathering his pack and rescuing him from certain death, that is where we left. And that is where we'll start the next episode that will be released next week. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you look forward to it. Make sure to tell me if you do. I'm always open to comments, tips, guides. And speaking of tips and guides, I wish to now bring my attention to the new and returning players. In this, I like to partake in some of my knowledge that I have discovered. And in this regard, I mentioned this in the episode, and I want to kind of bring it to people's attention if they haven't got it already. I know the veteran players probably have this already. There is a tool, a website called LOTRO HQ, and it's kind of a little bit like Wowhead, a little bit like other tools out there that gives you builds and recommendations and guides on your classes, which I found very useful when trying to discern which path to go, what talents to pick, in which order, and how much I should put in. So I recommend LOTRO HQ, if you're new, to check it out, kind of look around, see which role fits which class before even picking your class, and going from there. You don't have to. That's just my advice. And before we part ways, before I let you go off into Tharbad or wherever it is you're heading, I'd love to hear from you, my fellow travellers. For this week, I would love to know, where are you in the world of Middle-earth? Are you in the south in Gondor? Are you further beyond? Are you in the north with me here in Eregion? Or are you more towards the east, to Rohan, or further, to Mordor? Let me know. You can send all your thoughts, or any stories you have, or questions, to the comment down below, or you can check out the email, or you can find me on the socials. And I'll try and feature some responses in the future episodes. And I'd love to hear your story. And I think it's important that we share stories. But where has the time gone? But the moon is slowly dipping down, and dawn is to approach. Our fire must be put out, and I must get back on the road. But so I implore you, look after yourself out there. I pray that you enjoy our little slice of Middle-earth. So next time, when I next see you, I will have to regale you my tales, catch up on things, and maybe share a little bit of advice as well. And hopefully, someday soon we will reach the great halls of Moria. But until then, dearest listener, keep your pack light, and your blade sharp, and your hearts ready for the road ahead. And I'll see you up on the path.